We're back with Max Estenger. Max, New York-based painter. Can I call you a minimalist?
You know, you have this kind of fetish about that, and I don't understand. I'm not of that generation.
You're well, now the new paintings,
Judd was born in 1930, I think.
Donald Judd was born in 1930.
Well, let me figure this out. He died like in 93, and he was like 60-something, so
okay.
could have
late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not from that generation.
Right.
We know that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that much. So do you consider yourself a lean painter? What's the best way? How will history describe you? Because you're getting pretty Baroque on us, so I'm sticking with that term.
Well, I mean, do you see that painting back there?
Yeah.
Right there. Wait.
You're blocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
the
was
stripe painting has how many colors in it?
that had like 22.
Okay. But then look at the one to the right there.
Yes. That was 2006. The one to the right of it, yes. Is
2006. So
no. The color one is
the stripe paintings are 2006.
Yes. The one on the right was 2015.
Oh my God. Well, see it. Okay.
Yeah, and that's black and white.
Anyway.
But anyway,
look, we're
you
back.
know what? I don't know.
Your retrospective at Mocha Tucson.
Yeah, it was really great.
It feated you, FETED for you transcribers. It feated you as a painter. Do you consider yourself an artist or a painter?
Really, Matt? That's all you got at this hour of the interview?
That's all I got, man. You've exhausted it all.
Oh, well, look, there's three-dimensional work in that space there.
I'm blocking it, of course.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. The phone booth.
You know, artists are artists, and you know. I primarily make work for the wall, but I also have made work that's three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional.
Yeah. My father recently said on this trip, because when I come out here I visit my parents, that if it's not hanging on a wall, he's not interested in it.
Well, that sums you up. Yeah. So we're looking at your retrospective. We have some more art to look at. But
it was just a little survey show, not a retrospective.
It was a survey show.
Yeah, you know.
Not a retrospective.
Yeah, no, it was just like a survey, mid-career
survey. Okay, fine.
Oh,
fine.
There you go. Look at that one.
Okay, what year is this? 2017?
Yes, that's brand new.
Brand new.
Yep, a lot of paint too. Look at the raw canvas, Matt.
Hey, there's some raw canvas.
And wait, there's some. Oh, there you go. And there's some in the corners.
There's a little bit of raw canvas.
Look at that. You see that?
Okay.
That's 4 panels.
4 panels.
All oil on canvas, and then 4 little notches that were reserved with tape and then pulled off.
Okay, I'm gonna make a confession here. You sent me these images so I could size them for our screen here. And when I first looked at this one, I thought, oh, there's a copyright issue. I thought this was a Robert Mangold. I was like, why did he send me a Robert Mangold? Then I realized, oh no, this is a new Max Estenger.
You know, that is, I would cop guilty to that, but I don't. You'd be hard pressed to tell me what Robert Mangold painting that ever looked like.
Oh.
And he will come back on the air.
I'll come back on the air.
And he will admit that he was wrong.
I'll come back on the air, but not with a retraction.
But with the proof.
With proof that I'm going to have to get the Mangold estate to allow me to show the copyright images.
Well, first of all, he's not dead, okay? In fact, I just met him recently.
You met Robert Mangold?
Yeah, I met him in June. He had a show, or it might have been May. He had a show in New York, his latest show at Pace.
At Pace?
And he's a really great artist. I mean, I think he's one of the seminal painters of the last 50 years. Who is creeping up, he's kind of the boring version of like Ryman. Ryman has this whole cult around him. I think because the hand is there in his paintings.
In Robert Ryman's paintings?
Yes.
Robert Ryman, the evidence of the existence has given him a much bigger audience than a lot of the...
even though in some ways Ryman's work is tougher, in the sense that it's always just white.
The use of color alone is once you decide to use a color other than white, you've gone over the deep end.
Right. So I have tremendous respect and admiration for Mangold. Yeah.
Can we see what we got next here? Because I don't even remember the order I put these in. So maybe I should have put this one in first, and we could have had that debate first. Okay.
Fuchsia.
I want to talk about this painting because if you could we just show the painting without us? Because Max is blocking a particular thing I wanted to point out. The tape, your infamous great taping has belied, there's a spot or two down at the corner there that what happened?
You know, I'm really, first of all, that is like, you know, that's like the Van Halen, no, not the Van Halen.
Jesus.
What's that?
That's like Van Halen?
No, who had the contract with the brown M&Ms?
It was Van Halen. Yeah.
That's like you passed the test.
Yeah.
Because you saw that in these.
Okay. I saw. Okay, yeah. Van Halen had a contract that there were to be no brown M&Ms in their bowl of M&Ms, and they had to pick out all the brown M&Ms. And the reason they asked to do that was to really know if they had picked out. They didn't care about picking out. They wanted to know that somebody actually read the contract writer for the green room and had done things. So all they had to do was look at the bowl of M&Ms, and they could assume that every other demand had been met. Right. So I picked out the brown M&M. There's actually the tape at the bottom wasn't perfect. What happened?
No, nothing. I mean,
just made a beautiful
painting.
First of
all, it's a fuchsia painting, okay, and which is different, right? That's Baroque, if you want to say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it's about spontaneity, and that was sort of, I mean, I have to tell you, that was a conscious decision not to seal that tape with what I would normally seal it with. But of course I can't.
Yes.
It's no, look, people use matte medium.
Everybody, the recipe's out there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, and is this a new piece?
Yeah.
What's the title here?
This is just yellow, and I think that's white that you're blocking.
I'm blocking the white. There. Okay. The white.
And maybe we could just see the painting, pray tell.
Can we just see the painting? Wow, we just disappeared?
Yeah, and this is really the essence, right? The different supports I use: canvas, clear vinyl, stainless steel, and the paint is very matter-of-factly put on, and that's it.
Do you get into a lot of arguments about art? Does anybody ever just is this, you know, is there any radicality here? You know, is there any disconnect between you and the art world that brings people fighting words over this type of thing?
You know, I think that's an interesting question. I don't think people really fight over art like that anymore, which is actually too bad. I agree.
It's kind of.
I agree.
It's too bad.
I think the whole thing about, you know, liking on these social media things.
Everybody wants to get liked.
Right. And didn't they take away the feature, right? The thumbs down?
Was there a thumbs down?
Yeah, there used to be.
Jeez.
You didn't know that?
Well, there's the angry face now. This makes me angry.
Okay.
You know,
and I will say something else. Look, the position of this kind of abstract painting within the realm of the art world is such that the artists don't. They kind of agree to just let it slide. So there's not going to be this contention, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they already feel embattled. Right?
Just being in the art world, you feel embattled.
Or just doing abstract art.
Doing abstract painting these days it's a tough haul.
Right.
It's a tough haul. What do you think about painters who flit between abstraction and representation? Who you know, a little flavor here and then put some people in it or some, you know, what do you think of that?
You
don't care?
I don't care.
You don't
it doesn't
care.
bother me.
What were the days when people when can we start fighting about this stuff? There's bigger battles though.
Yeah.
There's a bigger battle. What is the biggest battle facing an artist? Or should I just say an American today?
An American?
An American.
Well, I don't know. I think that you and I described the situation in terms of the administration. I mean, how did we end up with this person as the leader of this country?
Well,
but the question is, how do you win, okay?
How do you win?
How do you win in 2020?
How do you win?
You don't have our side turning on each other and continuing to alienate those voters that we need to have for the next election.
You're a liberal.
Yes.
And are you a registered Democrat?
Yes.
You vote in the primaries?
Yes.
Do you believe that the primaries should reflect the vote of the primaries, or that the superdelegates should get to select who the Democratic nominee is?
Wait, what are we on now? CNN, MSNBC?
I'm curious. Do you have a stance on this?
No, I think the superdelegates should definitely have a say.
Okay.
I think they should definitely be able to, that's why it's an organized party.
I
Right?
belong to no organized political party. I am a Democrat.
Thank you. Will
The
Rogers?
great Will Rogers. Very good. Wow, wow, wow.
Well, if we
So-
could run a Will Rogers type of Democrat who could appeal to people in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Or you could just visit there while you're campaigning a couple of times. Don't you think that might help?
That would help.
Yeah, that would help.
And you didn't shame people about the kind of food they eat.
What is up
And-
with when did do you remember when the right wing used to be the moralizers?
Yeah.
Now why all of a sudden the left wing is the moralizers? What's
Yeah,
up with that?
Listen, it is really self-defeating, and
Are we living in the Victorian era? Most liberals would say, well, you got to remember not to do that. And what is up?
Yeah.
What is up?
it's depressing.
I
mean, there was an issue with a great punk band being censored. The Dickies.
Okay, the Dickies, a punk band at a punk concert, I guess they got kicked off the tour for someone heckled them and they heckled back and they didn't use the correct speech. And the problem is a lot of punks have a natural affinity for the underdog, and they saw the hecklers as the underdog here in this big band on the, I don't even remember what tour it was. I don't follow all the, God. But there was some punk rock tour, and so the punk rock, they're the big band. They're not the underdog. The heckler in the audience is the underdog, and so there's this heartfelt need to be with the underdog, and I do see that as kind of a metaphor. Like you're at a punk show, a punk rock show, like the one place somebody can cuss at you.
Right.
You know, but I don't know.
Right.
I wasn't there. I still like the.
So I
Dickies,
think
though.
all of our wonderful young people on college campuses, do what the right wing did with Trump. They
What did
said-
the right wing do with Trump?
Well, they shut up about gay marriage.
There was not one time in the campaign did some right-wing Christian evangelical stand up and demand that Trump take a stance on gay marriage. So Trump didn't have to take a stance on gay marriage and won a sizable percentage of the I want to say the libertarian-leaning part of the Republican Party that ordinarily would be very socially liberal. And so, and the idea is not that he's going to appoint Supreme Court justices that will overturn gay marriage, which he might, but the fact that it was never brought up, he was never confronted, while so much is demanded of everyone else.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton had to pretend that there was no difference between illegal immigration and legal immigration, and she thought that she would get some votes that way, which she did in California, and they won the score up here by over 4 million, but then you lose. It'd be better if they won California by 2 million, but carried Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, for crying out loud. So anyway, look, it's really depressing, but I think in 2020, because this man is so in over his head in every way, that a Democrat will win. But it would be nice if they got their act together, they could win 58-42, to have a substantial, decisive victory over this man, who's obviously not up to the job and just temperamentally unsuited for this job.
I like the fact that we haven't said the name yet either. What are we looking at here?
Yes.
Oh, here we are.
New work.
We've got it here.
Steel panel on
Clear.
top.
This is clear, so you can see the wood support.
Yes, and it's half of the top of that panel. The middle. There's 3 panels. Stainless steel at the top, clear vinyl in the middle, stainless steel at the bottom. Part of the stainless steel is painted black, part of the plastic white, and then at the bottom, black. So
Wow.
it is what it is.
It is what it is. What is the title?
Black and white.
Black and White, 2017.
2017.
And will this be in the
Oh,
solo
yeah, I
show?
think this will
Well, it'll
make
definitely be in the catalog.
yeah.
Okay, and we're looking at a painting about 5 feet tall,
Yes.
roughly,
Yeah.
and again with the anthropomorphic.
Well, there is that is another different aspect to this show where a lot of the paintings are tall. I've usually been about horizontality, but this show is more about the vertical for some reason. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. How would a kid say that today? Portrait.
Portrait
and landscape.
and landscape.
Right,
because of
Right,
tech.
right.
Tech. So where do you stand on tech? Do you enjoy digital art? Do you see that as the future?
No, I think the more we're dealing with technology, the more people want something that is a unique, handmade thing. I also think photography. Duchamp said that painting would be unbearable. That everyone would do photography, and now I think photography's become unbearable.
Unbearable. I think photography. A lot of the market is complete. Everybody's a photographer.
Yes.
Not everybody's a painter. Not everybody's an object maker, especially with so many digital possibilities. I think there's more people now are like minor filmmakers, movie makers, than specifically, making objects.
Right.
So I think that might be the future. So what else did you bring?
Let's see. I don't know. Let's ask the crew. Is there another image?
Do we have any more?
Did we miss one? Oh.
There. Now, okay. Interestingly enough, no symmetry. Not many pieces of yours that we've shown even tonight have been asymmetrical as this.
This is steel, wood, and steel. 3 panels.
Steel, wood, and steel. What's the title?
What do you take a guess?
Well, I was going to say black and yellow, but I'm going to say yellow and black.
That's a great.
You don't fucking know.
No. It's black and yellow because the white is not. It's not white paint.
Okay.
It's just the surface.
It's a surface.
But I usually would call it black and yellow because it sounds better. But if we just read it from top to bottom, yes, yellow and black.
I don't. Okay.
I haven't.
You haven't decided.
There's no checklist yet. Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So,
yeah.
Max, I've known you since 1978.
Yes, you were my mentor then.
Yes. No. Oh no. Oh no.
Yes.
He's not going to pull the age thing on me.
I was a kid.
Yes.
It was. Were you in college then?
We were freshmen in high school in the same year. So I don't want to pull out IDs here, Grandpa. Okay. So in that time, in the last 40 or 39 years. Where would you put the recent presidential election in terms of disasters facing our great nation in the last 40 years?
Well, it's funny because I was at the disaster of September 11th, 2001. And then I was at the disaster there, which happened in Manhattan too. November 8th, they were both there, you know that.
Yeah,
right?
wow.
November 8th, 2016. It is interesting that the most reactionary person to become president since at least the 20s or before was just a Manhattan, lifelong New Yorker,
yep.
Rich billionaire or supposed billionaire. So that's very strange, very strange. But certainly those are events that
you would put the election of the president on November 8th, 2016, close to the disaster of 9/11.
Yeah, I put that obviously at number one because of the repercussions for thousands of people that day, millions of people after that, and I think that this election was a consequence of that day too.
I break it into two things. There was the actual 9/11, but then there was the reaction to 9/11, which may or may not historically have. I think it was in the end a terrible reaction.
You know, I got to say something. Last night, I partook in one of the great rituals of Southern California. I went to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Terrible parking. Ooh.
And it was the Philharmonic.
Dudamel? Did Dudamel conduct?
Yeah. He's really something.
Is the first time you've seen Gustavo live?
I've seen him before,
okay.
but he did, there was a program, the earlier program was Copeland, and then the second after the intermission was Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Oh,
and by
okay.
the way, Vin Scully narrated.
The late Dodger announcer, he's still with us, but he's now no longer the announcer for the Dodgers. He's missing a hell of a season, by the way. So he narrated. What did he narrate?
A Copeland work called Lincoln Portrait. Very moving. And
was it sponsored by Farmer John?
Westernmost in
easternmost in flavor, easternmost in quality, westernmost in flavor. Okay.
So what I was going to say is this.
Tell me about Beethoven's Ninth.
I actually believe that art and music
Visual art.
Yeah, visual art and music, just art, the arts are going to transcend, you know, any kind of momentary problems that we have right now. In terms of, I think that people get in this crisis mode, and organize yourself, talk to your neighbors, as people, as human beings, connect with them, and this situation will take care of itself. But I think that there is a great power in art, in its transformative power. Last night, that performance of Beethoven's Ninth was incredible. I mean, there were people crying all over the place.
How do you compare that experience to the do you look at it as transcendent at looking at art, a visual art, like a painting, going to a museum and seeing one of the great paintings?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think they're two totally different kind of experiences. Music, to me, is more related to your life, to your feeling of happiness, sadness, love, etc. Whereas art is on another level. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just totally different. You know, you don't weep at Autumn Rhythm.
The Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you cry.
Right.
What does it do?
But it does something really special that makes you sort of part of that moment, in that instant that you're in front of this, and a person made this, and it's a whole, it's so instantaneous that it's different. It's not about, oh, my you know, partner left me, my, you know, wife left me, my husband left me, whatever. It's just it's a different.
Whereas music can bring up the emotion. Like
yes,
you relive this.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And you know, and we're not just talking about instrumental music. Obviously, popular music with lyrics, blah 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 blah. It really is grounded in the prosaics of life. But visual art, especially modernist abstraction and the stuff that was inspired by it and has continued that legacy, is really, really like a different thing, a different animal. And I think that's why people still make it. That's why people still collect it and appreciate it, and, you know.
There's never been more visual art, I believe, like just on display at any given time. You know, there's more venues now for the display. We lose commercial galleries, but we're gaining private museums, you know. I mean, it's all still there. We haven't lost an inch of square linear wall, foot by foot of walls.
Is this a scientific thing that you came up with, or
yes,
is it verifiable?
Yes, it's verifiable. I'll footnote this fucker. No, okay. I have no. I have just look around.
Okay. No, I think you're right, and I do think that it is interesting because in the '60s you had the power of the critic. Right?
Yes.
Greenberg and Fried,
absolutely.
And then all the people that came after them, Rosalind Krauss,
October,
and the pictures people, Hal Foster, and nobody gives a shit what anybody thinks.
Not at
It's
all.
all about. Can I say that on the air?
You can say that on the air. We archive this on YouTube, and you can say nobody gives a shit about criticism anymore.
And by the way, I do care about criticism. I enjoy reading criticism. It's fun. It's interesting. It gives, but basically all the art world cares about now are the collectors, and
that's why. So you're headed towards. We've gone from an era of critics. The '80s were the era of the artist, the art star, the Julian Schnabels, all the way to the Jeff Koons. Started with Warhol, but really manifested there. But now it's the collector. The private museum is ruling us. You know,
right.
Galleries, woo, but we're, you know,
and it is something. So when you go back to Boyle Heights and people defending their turf, you know, I respect that, and I'm trying to understand where I fall on that, because, you know, the laws of this is a capitalist system, right? But does money always trump everything?
I don't think private galleries represent capitalism, nor do they represent money. That's the.
Well, I wasn't talking about who are being protested.
Yes, the ones who are being protested.
Right.
The irony is, why is the target the galleries when the target should be rent control and the developers? But no, they want to go after an easy target, and I think it's completely misguided. And I wonder sometimes if it's maybe Defend Boyle Heights is a COINTEL operation. COINTELPRO operation specifically designed to focus the left away from where they should be focusing, just like in the 60s. You know, it's a classic, it strikes me as a classic
And did you
operation.
notice, Matt, that I actually used the secret word there?
What was the secret
In my last, don't repeat it, but I said something about money going over. Yeah, it was the word that
You said capitalism?
Of November 8th, 2000.
Oh, no,
yes,
you did. Oh, geez.
I used the word.
Don't see
But I did it in a different context,
Okay.
and it
Oh,
went
it
right
tried.
over. Yes,
Oh,
now I'll
as
look,
a verb, as a verb.
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, I guess then for this time you win. We are out of time. I have one more question since you brought up music, popular music. Oh, can we see one more slide? I think I got a few more here. Can we see one more? Ah, here we are. Hey, wait, this was the, I put this one at the end. Hey, since you mentioned music though, Desert Island Disc. You have one record, one CD, you're on a desert island, you're going to be stranded there for 2 or 3 years, maybe.
I'm going to give you a few. I'm going to say Blood on the Tracks, Bob Dylan, 69 Love Songs, Magnetic Fields, Daydream Nation.
By Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth.
Wow.
Radiohead, Kid A. Those
Wow.
are my favorites.
Wow, Sonic Youth. What about Sister? I always thought Sister might be a better album. It's Daydream Nation's longer, more epic.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
you hear Teenage
Teenage Riot.
Riot, yeah.
Okay.
You want to...
Yes or no? It's the 50th anniversary of the release of Sgt. Pepper. Did you buy the box set for $150?
Nope.
Well, one of us did. Ha ha, sucker! Max, you win again.
A pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on Modern Art Blitz. We do this actually on Sundays at 4 o'clock. Tune in live to Modern Art Blitz. We archive this on YouTube and our Facebook page. Thanks to my guest, Max Estenger. Thanks to the studios here at Dronebox for accommodating us on this special edition because Max couldn't be here on the weekend. These world travelers from New York may land here again. Thank you very much. We'll see you Sunday.
A place for dreams, a place for scars, a place for screams. Welcome to Hollywood. Do you look good naked? Do you think you should? Sharks swim around in these waters, looking for something to eat. Stars arrive daily by the hundreds. Stars are just really fish feed. Welcome to California. You're living inside your own head. Welcome to Hollywood. You think you're living, you're already dead. Welcome to the land of illusion.